Up next on The Reveal.
Car's actually pretty clean except for the cocaine.
Hard drugs, but only soft charges in one metro Atlanta city.
So guess what? You're going to get a city ordinance ticket for it and you go home tonight, all right?
Why does Sandy Springs charge suspects with disorderly conduct when they could be charged with state drug charges?
I told her that it was very disrespectful that I was asked to bring my son's remains into court as proof.
A grieving mother claims the court ordered her to prove the death of her baby on the spot.
We finally ended up with a brother and then some more sisters and then another brother, and we're like, well, this is kind of weird.
Did a fertility doctor use his own sperm to impregnate multiple women?
Did you father these children?
From our Midtown studios in Atlanta, The Reveal begins now with our multi-Emmy and National Moral Award-winning team of investigators.
Welcome to The Reveal. I'm Faith Abube.
And I'm Brendan Keefe. One northern suburb is running its own drug court, and the Fulton DA is not happy about it. Why is Sandy Springs handing out tickets for heroin and meth possession when Atlanta is charging the same defendants with felonies? A Reveal investigation discovered the majority of disorderly conduct citations in Sandy Springs are actually for drug possession. And we've got the body cam videos to prove it.
Oh yeah, that's crack cocaine. Cocaine and heroin. Found it. It was in the center console. Coke and meth. There we go. Oh, God. Oh, damn. Is the white powder in this methamphetamine? Bingo! Crack cocaine.
Hard drugs.
Car's actually pretty clean except for the cocaine.
Soft charges.
So guess what? You're gonna get a city ordinance ticket for it and you go home tonight, all right? What's that though? City ordinance? Just the disorderly conduct violation. So do I have to go to court for that? You can, or you can pay it out.
Cocaine possession is a felony in Georgia.
We're both gang members, so I'm gonna pat them down.
But in Sandy Springs, it's not even a misdemeanor.
You don't get a state charge. You just go through the city of Sandy Springs, and that's it. We have a city ordinance violation for drugs. That's all you're getting cited for. It's like the easiest way instead of taking you for a felony possession, which this would be a felony possession, okay? I'm giving you a warning for the window tint. You're not getting a ticket for that, just for the cocaine. Take it easy.
Why does Sandy Springs charge suspects with disorderly conduct when they could be charged with state drug charges?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, if we do that, they end up going downtown and nothing ever happens. They oftentimes beat our police officers back out on the street faster than our police officers can get through with the paperwork and back to headquarters. We just found that they never get prosecuted within the Fulton County system because it's overwhelmed.
Has Paul Howard had anything to say on this?
I haven't talked to him about it.
We did.
They did it because they thought that our system was simply too slow.
Are they right?
I believe that the system is too slow. I believe that our current Fulton County criminal justice system is in great need of overhaul.
Turn around. Turn around. Well, what I do? Turn around. Don't even think about it. Got it? He was back here smoking crack.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Puffing it up.
Yeah, still smoking. That is messed up, man. You're wearing a Captain America hat smoking crack.
Officers transferring into Sandy Springs learn quickly.
So what are you hitting them with?
Schedule, 2? Cocaine is 2, yeah. Dangerous drugs.
How much crack is it?
2 little stones.
DC, more time with the city.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
That county's just gonna throw them right out. Oh, absolutely.
He'll be. Really?
Yeah.
Smoking crack at the same spot in 3 days. So DC.
If you do DC City, he'll be gone for at least 6 months.
Some of the officers believed that maybe their cases were not being prosecuted. Well, our data shows that we are in fact indicting or in the process of indicting 98% of those cases.
Does Sandy Springs have a drug problem?
America has a drug problem that happens to be manifested in communities like Sandy Springs, like Atlanta.
But this is how Atlanta handles the same cases in the same county.
Got some heroin over here.
A defendant out on bond for this felony heroin arrest in Atlanta
You got any ID with you?
was caught with meth in Sandy Springs,
Just relax.
where he was charged only with city disorderly conduct.
Keep your hands out of your pocket.
The same low-level citation
Is there any in there?
Yep.
for this man arrested with cocaine in Sandy Springs.
There's no way to avoid this at all? No.
But he was a dealer out on bond for multiple felony indictments in Fulton County. While he later pleaded guilty to trafficking drugs on the dark web from his Roswell apartment and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, his Sandy Springs cocaine arrest resulted in 6 months probation and a $500 fine. No one told the Fulton trial judge in his pending felony drug case. Some of these guys were awaiting prosecution by your office. Some of them were on probation for prosecutions from your office when they were arrested in Sandy Springs. But it's as though those things happened on two different planets.
That's really a problem.
It doesn't go against your record. It stays off your record.
None of the cases we're showing you will end up on the defendant's criminal record, because these city drug charges are considered less than a speeding ticket under Georgia law.
And again, it's a city ordinance violation. Doesn't go on your record or anything like that.
I'm going to take you to jail for the disorderly conduct. The city ordinance, not the felony.
Even these cases involving guns and drugs.
What are you reaching for? Stop reaching! Look underneath that seat. Oh, there we go. I knew he was reaching for something. Oh, this is a felony. Having a gun in the commission of a crime is another felony. Problem is, if we do that, we're going to be here till 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to make our paperwork a little bit easier, but it's also going to make your life a whole lot easier.
Is it advertising to these drug dealers and drug users, come to Sandy Springs and you won't get a felony record?
That's just the opposite. You come to Sandy Springs, you're not going to get sit downtown and sit back out on the street. If it's justified, you're going to jail.
At the jail, officers from other departments seem shocked when Sandy Springs officers book suspects with minor tickets for major drugs.
Discount for cocaine? Our city charges are more,
That's insane.
yeah, but that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The police department has been very frustrated with how these cases have been handled by the county DA. And I'm not going to be necessarily critical of Mr. Howard. He's got more cases than he can deal with down there.
A crack cocaine transaction
This is not Fulton County Drug Court.
to the charge of disorderly conduct.
It's Sandy Springs Municipal Court, where defendants face mandatory drug treatment, probation, and fines in days or weeks, not months or years.
There's a fine because of the hard drugs involved.
If you arrest them on felony drug possession charges, they go downtown, but the fines go downtown too, right?
Our balance sheet's pretty healthy. This is not about revenue, it's about people.
Possessing illegal drugs is illegal. Believe it or not, it's crazy, right?
Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard broke some news in our interview. He says he's going to ask the Georgia General Assembly to enact legislation reforming the Superior Court system to speed it up. Right now, it can take a year or more just to get an indictment on a felony arrest.
I guess the question here is, does Sandy Springs actually turn a profit on a municipal court?
Faith, they do turn a profit, $1 million a year profit, but that's just 1% of the city budget, and disorderly conduct cases are a fraction of that. However, our analysis of more than 700 disorderly conduct cases shows 64% of them in Sandy Springs are actually drug cases in disguise, and residents have no way of knowing.
Coming up on The Reveal.
And she requested that I go to get it. And I just kind of asked, like, are you serious?
Why a DeKalb County mother is calling for more compassion and humanity in Georgia courtrooms. Who would lie about the death of their child? That's what a Metro Atlanta mother is asking after a recent encounter in a DeKalb County courtroom. She says despite the lies people tell in court, her incident is an example of why we need more compassion and humanity in Georgia courtrooms. To say Janae Smith's 3 children are her life would be an understatement.
I can't remember how I sang.
It's okay, sing it again, baby.
Here they are, 5, 7, and the baby boy, who forever remain 2 months old.
He was just a very happy baby. He just always smiled, and he was just always loved. And one day I woke up and he was gone.
Janae couldn't save her baby boy.
They tried to save him at the hospital, and it didn't work.
Just like that, sudden infant death syndrome took Jacob. And just like that, Janae's world went dark.
I honestly have to say that there's nothing else worse in life than not being able to give life back to the thing that you gave life to. To see a part of yourself that you created dead.
Janae took Jacob's death hard. The next few months were a blur, and that's how she says she missed a DeKalb County court appearance.
I was completely out of it.
Janae made it to court 4 months after the original court date. Her crime? She had rolled through a stop sign and got a traffic ticket.
Can't go by that stop sign like that.
I slowed down, but I did not come to a complete stop. And understanding that, yes, I did something wrong, of course.
Janae blames herself for breaking the rules of the road that day and for missing her court date. But the way she says the courts treated her when she finally went in on her own left her feeling like a violent criminal. The prosecutor wanted proof on the spot that her child had died, and according to Janae, wouldn't let her reschedule the court date to give her a chance to bring in that proof.
And I was like, well, what do you want? It's not like I carry around his death certificate or his obituary. I said, I only have one thing that I could possibly even bring now, and I think it would be completely disrespectful if you asked me to. And she asked, what was it?
It was this teddy bear urn. It carries her baby's ashes.
And she requested that I go to get it. And I just kind of asked, are you serious? I know people lie, but God, why lie about something like that?
That's a rather extreme circumstance.
Jeffrey Sliz has been a Georgia defense attorney for more than 40 years. He says he understands people lie in courtrooms every day, but Janae's case should have been handled differently.
You lost your child, and I think that anybody could understand how you would forget anything, court appearance, whatever you have to be doing. And I think it probably could have been handled easier by just saying, okay, so I'm going to give you this one opportunity. I'll give you 1 week to come back and bring me back, some papers from the funeral home or papers from a doctor that saw the child.
A stranger in that courtroom that day was so disturbed by how the solicitor handled Janae's case that they reached out to 11 Alive so we could find the grieving mother and get her answers.
My prosecutor, they're in court. They are required to ask people for documentation if they fail to miss court.
DeKalb Solicitor General Donna Coleman Stribling.
I certainly sympathize with her.
Coleman Stribling says her assistant solicitor did ask Janae for proof of her child's death, but never asked her to specifically bring in the ashes. We asked for the court recording. We were told they don't exist because of a technical problem in that specific courtroom that day.
There was nothing illegal that was done here. But is there room for compassion?
Oh, there's always room for compassion.
Was that lacking in this situation?
I don't believe so.
I think that's kind of callous.
When Janae finally made it in front of the traffic court judge, she had the bear with her son's ashes as proof. But the judge told her she didn't need that proof after all.
As I literally stood in front of everyone in court, I told her that it was very disrespectful that I was asked to bring my son's remains into court as proof. I think we just need to really think about how we treat people.
Faith, the important thing to remember here is this was a stop sign violation, and she wasn't even trying to get out of the ticket.
Yeah, Janae did plead guilty to the stop sign violation. She was sentenced to serve 12 months on probation and to pay nearly $200 in fines, which she says is legally fair. She's not disputing that. She just wishes she had been treated better. Another solicitor did eventually get her failure to appear fine waived.
Next on The Reveal.
He kind of interrupted her and said, yes, we did use a sperm donor to conceive you and Tawny.
How an inquiry on Ancestry.com changed this woman's life.
Welcome back to The Reveal. The man she assumed was her father for nearly 4 decades is not.
A lawsuit alleges that a Colorado doctor may have used his own sperm for many of his patients he was helping to conceive.
1100 KNZZ, dependable weather.
Sunny for Thursday, Grand Junction, Delta.
It's becoming more real. It's still not real, 100%.
Like shadows.
Chance of showers Thursday night.
Secrets creep slowly.
I'm ready for it not to be a secret, though.
Imperceptibly, until one day,
I'm tired of the secret.
The secret conceals.
Dr. Jones?
Conceals everything.
Hi, I'm Chris Vanderveen with 9 News. You got a moment?
I want to know his motivation, why he did it.
Is it a lie?
It could be.
What does that mean?
I don't deny it. I am not going to tell you anything.
I absolutely love it. Everybody's so friendly and nice. It's very refreshing.
I'm super into genealogy and family history, and I thought it would be fun to know exactly where my ancestors came from.
Born in 1980, Maya never considered herself a curious child. And then last year, on a whim,
Ancestry had is special.
she did something very curious.
You spit in a tube. You put a little cap on it, shake it up, put it in an envelope, put it in a box, you drop it off at the post office.
A few weeks later, Ancestry's DNA results revealed nothing terribly surprising.
No. I was mostly English and German like I had expected.
Like she and her family had expected. Yet not long after, New Year's Eve to be precise, a stranger's message on Ancestry.com delivered something entirely unexpected.
So I opened the email, and it was from a woman saying that we were a close familial match and were likely half-sisters.
Half-sisters, and that wasn't the half of it.
And I just lost it. I started sobbing. I'm thinking my dad is not my biological father. It was devastating. My dad is literally one of the kindest people anyone will ever meet.
And so Maya texted her sister Tawny, who texted her back.
Red flag, right? What is this about? Is this about mom or dad? What's going on? Is everybody okay?
Sort of, Maya explained. We need to ask Mom a question.
At first she said no, and then my dad, who's very quiet and reserved, says he kind of interrupted her and said, no, yes, we did use a sperm donor to conceive you and Tawny.
Bam.
Each the daughter of a father they did not know.
Our world got turned upside down, more or less.
And I know they're angry. All I wanted was to be a mom. That's all I ever wanted. And I am, and I'm grateful for that.
And that's where the story could end, were it not for something even more curious. Ancestry kept finding matches, half-siblings, each like Maya and Tawny, with the same DNA of the same unknown father.
And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting.
There's Crystal McFeeters, now living in Oregon.
We finally ended up with a brother and then some more sisters and then another brother. And we're like, well, this is kind of weird.
Had no clue.
Ryan Gray, now living with his wife just north of Denver.
It was very weird. It was very weird to see that.
Straight outside of Rapid City.
Shauna Holtz, now living in South Dakota.
It was one after another, and we all have the same story.
We now know of at least 10. Except for Maya and Tawny, they are all strangers, born between 1976 and 1997. It was Maya who first,
I can hyper-focus on things,
suspected a link.
When Maya told me, I was, what? I truly didn't think that was the case.
Each of the ones we spoke to say their mothers visited what was once known as Gynecologic Obstetrical Associates of Western Colorado, and each had sought fertility assistance from Dr. Paul Brennan Jones of Grand Junction.
I thought he was doing a good thing for me and my sweet husband, who's so kind, like the girl said. They couldn't have a better father, period.
As Cheryl's obstetrician, he even helped deliver both Maya and Tawny. She says Dr. Jones told her he used anonymous sperm donors for both.
He said that there were medical students, at the St. Mary's, and so anyway, one thing led to another, and we said, okay.
It was a story other mothers we met say he told them as well, and a common practice at the time. Doctors needed fresh samples donated maybe an hour before the mother's visit to up the odds of fertilization, so they'd lean on nearby med school or law students. But this lawsuit filed Monday in Mesa County Court maintains Dr. Jones leaned on no students for help. Instead, quote, he used his own fresh sperm to artificially inseminate Cheryl Emmons, prior to Cheryl giving birth to both Tawny and Maya.
And I'm sorry. I keep telling my kids. He did a bad thing to all of us. My kids are the ones that are hurt the most, and I'm sorry. I didn't know. Honest to God, I didn't know.
I want to hear his voice. I don't know why, but that's important to me.
Dr. Jones? Hi, I'm Chris Vanderveen with 9 News. Can I show you something?
Dr. Paul Jones is now 80 years old.
Have you seen this DNA test?
Well, no, but what difference does it make?
Colorado renewed his medical license in May.
Did you father these children?
That's an impertinent question.
Why is that an impertinent question?
Because I'm not going to answer.
Do you think at some time you're going to answer this question?
Maybe in court, under oath.
Only his DNA he has so far refused to give, could prove or disprove the allegations.
Would you give a DNA sample?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want to have any incriminating evidence against me.
Secrets, like shadows, creep slowly, imperceptibly. This is a story they haven't even told some friends and family.
Who would have thought all these years later, right?
Not me.
Yet it is now time, they say, to reveal their secret.
So this is going to be, everybody's going to know. But you know what? Oh well. Yeah, I'd like to sweep it under the rug, but he needs to be held accountable.
Thanks for watching The Reveal, the nation's only weekly local investigative show.
We'll see you next Sunday for The Reveal.